Good evening, ladies, gentlemen, theys, and gays. This is the Real Pineapple. This is your humble host, Hunter, here. Happy Black History Month, y'all. I'm going to have several reviews for Black History Month, including reviews for Malcolm X. I've been waiting for a reason to rip open the Criterion of that, so I'm going to watch that. I'm going to watch Do the Right Thing. I'm going to be reviewing Watchmen, the HBO miniseries. I have somehow avoided spoilers on that shit this whole time, so I'm really excited to figure out why that is just so high on everyone's list and that people love it so much. Haven't decided what else I'm gonna review, but I'm definitely gonna review those. Gonna review Waves. That's an A24 flick that I fucking adore, and then I'm gonna be reviewing the last Black Man San Francisco. I'm definitely gonna be reviewing that, but I'm starting off the month with a movie I've had notes on for probably like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years, and I just kept telling myself, I'm gonna review it at some point. I'm gonna review it at some point. I'll get to it, and this is the perfect time to review this movie. I have a review for the 1996 comedy First Kid. That's right, goddammit, Sinbad's First Kid, written by Tim Keller, who went ahead and was a writer on Two and a Half Men, which, oh my god, that's wonderful. He also wrote Grudge Match. I think that's one with De Niro and Stallone, right? Yeah, that's not a great movie, but it's directed by David M. Evans, who also wrote and directed The Sandlot, which, holy shit, I never fucking knew that. He also went ahead and directed Ed. I think that's the movie with Matt LeBlanc and the monkey. Oh my god, that is the one. Why do I know that? But he went ahead and wrote that. Beethoven's third and fourth, he directed those. And then directed National Lampoon's Barely Legal in 2003. He wrote and directed The Sandlot 2. I refuse to watch it, so I don't know if it's good or not. But I did see one of the last things he directed back in 2009. He directed and wrote Ace Ventura Jr., Pet Detective, which, eek, I don't think you can even watch that anywhere because I want to do a review of it. But this movie, of course, stars the man, the myth, the legend, Sinbad, who you know from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, his multiple stand-up specials, including Son of a Preacher Man, which is fucking wonderful. Also, Sinbad, Where You Been is a lot of fucking fun. It's pretty great. And, of course, from Good Burger. But, so Sinbad plays Sam Sims, who is a Secret Service agent. He wants to go ahead and be the one protecting Eagle, protecting the president. That is his dream job. That is what everything that his life for him in the Secret Service is built to. That's what he wants. Bottom line, number one with a bullet. But Sims is just kind of a dum-dum. Like, he likes to fuck around. Like, at the end of the day, that's his biggest issue. He can't help himself. His direct superior, Robert, I always forget how to say this, Gulame, I believe is how you say it. He plays his direct superior, Wilkes. And you know him from Big Fish. You know him hopefully from Sports Night, which if you haven't seen Sports Night, oh my god, I watch Sports Night. But you know him from Big Fish, Seems Like Old Times, Lean on Me. He's a hell of an actor. And him, I will say, as a person of color, seeing him and Sinbad interact with each other just really made me happy because it's two pros just doing it. When Sam is just, straight up asking him, like, why can't I get promoted? He talks about the fact that it's because you fuck around. He mentions fake dog poop at the inaugural dinner, and you just see Sims trying so hard not to laugh, like it's not funny, sir. The movie starts off with him and Agent Dash, played by Blake Boyd. It starts off with him trying to go ahead and get free donuts by pretending that there's a bomb threat and that they need to give him the donuts quickly, which was really fucking funny. And once he's caught by Wilkes, this girl comes up to him and is like, "Here's your coffee, 2 creams, no sugar," and she just goes sprinting off. And Wilkes just looks at him like, "Motherfucker, this is this is why you can't get promoted. So, as I mentioned, he wants to go ahead and protect the president. That's his number one goal. But he ends up being reassigned to Luke Davenport, the first kid, Waka Waka, who's played by Brock Pierce. And before I get there, I do actually have to back up slightly. The guy who was his former security detail, played by Timothy Busfield, he plays Woods. And straight out the gate, I was actually kind of disturbed. You know Busfield from Field of Dreams, Stripes, Revenge of the Nerds. But what was pretty crazy about him in this movie is that he is abusive to Luke pretty openly. And it really shows how little the parents are paying attention until Woods does something just so egregious that the mom... Linda Davenport, the first lady, looks up and is like, wait a minute, what the fuck are you doing with my kid? She tells Woods to basically put Luke in the dressing room, like tell him to go get changed because they're out doing back to school shopping, and Luke is being a little shit. And that's honestly the biggest, or one of the biggest things with this movie, is that Luke is such a little shit. And he just gets away with everything. They don't tell you how many prior people he got fired, but you could easily see it being like double digits, because he's such a monster, and he's so uncooperative, and is clearly getting off on the power trip. Plus he's in high school, so he's got all those hormones going along with all that power. Oh my god, that's a fucking cocktail to be an asshole right there. But Luke is he's just a little shit. And there are just these points, even earlier in the day, where Woods is like, open the door. And Luke is just like fucking with the door lock. So it's delaying him getting somewhere on time. And then Linda goes, why the hell are you guys, 2 minutes late? Well, it's because of Luke. He's a kid. You're supposed to keep track of this stuff for him. Like, I could see how, as an adult, that would just wear your ass down after a while. And there's the added fun bonus that Woods clearly has a drinking problem, probably because of this kid, to be honest. But but Sims ends up getting reassigned to Luke because of that. And Wilkes' superior, Art LaFleur, who plays Morton, you know him from The Sandlot, The Man with One Red Shoe, Rampage, Transfer's Name. To name a few things. What did make me laugh about him is that he's such an asshole, and he clearly, like, to be honest, he comes across a little racist. The way he even speaks about Wilkes, he's like, oh yeah, if it wasn't for this, he doesn't say old nigga, but he's right around the corner from saying it. He's like, yeah, if it wasn't for Pops here, basically, you'd be out of a job. And you go, all right, like, that's unnecessary. Luke ends up, while he's changing in this dressing room, he backs out while his pants are down, so he moons. All these reporters and stuff that were following him around, and Sims gets in trouble for that. And I was just like, god damn, this motherfucker he can't catch a break. But what it does a really good job of is planting that Wood seed early on in the film, because he has a reason to be pissed. Luke is a little fucking asshole, but at the same time, this motherfucker is clearly drinking, if not on the job, or right before he gets on the job, and so he's not effective in the field, and wouldn't be effective as far as if someone were to try to take Luke or harm Luke in any way. So it really is on him, as well as, being the fucking, adult in the situation. But you find out that he fails his fitness for duty exam, and that's what gets him canned. In a pretty brutal scene, the way that was done. And even Sims talking to Woods about it, Woods goes, yeah, Sims, like, I have no ill will towards you, which you don't believe he does, but you can definitely tell that it just hits him in a way that it fucks him up. So Luke ends up going to this public school. I mean, I'd probably say it's like a private school. Yeah, it's a private school. What am I talking about? Like, it's not like he's going to Bayside, but he ends up going to this private school, and immediately, just first day, meets the ire of Zachary Ty Bryan. You know him from Home Improvement, Rob, and his gang of privileged douchebags. And what I like about Rob, just straight up, is just from jump, he clearly saw the president's kid joining his class and went, "I'm gonna make an example out of this fucker." Like, it's very clear that either he just like hates Luke, which is very much a possibility, but he also probably has a dad at home going, "Yeah, fuck the president. This is why I can't be even richer than I am now." Like, it screams like his dad was watching Fox News. But Rob and Luke get into a fight, and Rob whips that ass. He goes ahead and he pops Luke in the mouth like he was a zit. He punches him square in the face. And what I appreciate about this movie is that Sims is, trying to talk to the kid and like trying to get him to school on time, and Luke is pulling all his same bullshit, and the movie sides with Sims. It's him. Like, the movie flat out goes, "Yeah, you're right. Like, he was right to go ahead and let Luke get punched in the mouth." And I straight up laughed. Even as a kid, I was like, yeah, this kid is really mean. What's his problem? Luke's teacher is played by Fawn Reeds, who plays Susan Lawrence. And I love that immediately. So Sinbad is like standing next to Luke at lunch. And Luke basically goes like, "Dude, get the fuck out of here." And so Sims goes, "Cool, I'm going to go ahead and just, I'm going to back off." So he goes like almost across like the yard, basically. And that's when Rob and his goonies go ahead and start fucking with Luke. And Sims sees it, and he kind of like moves forward for a second, like, "Oh, I should go." And he's like, "You know what? No. Kid wants to be a dick. He doesn't want protection. Cool. I'm going to go ahead and just, stay here." And I appreciate that, because I know that we live in a world where it's like, oh, turn the other cheek and shit sometimes. But this kid needed to get a heavy dose of reality. He needed to get his ass whipped. And I know some people go like, "Oh yeah, like violence isn't always the answer." Sometimes it is. Sometimes you just need to punch someone in the face. And it forces Luke to act right. And it forces Luke to realize, oh wow, even though I'm the president's kid, that doesn't fucking matter if someone doesn't like me. If someone wants to punch you in the face, they're going to try to punch you in the face, regardless of who you are. And I actually appreciate the hell out of the fact that the movie goes, nah, this kid needed to get punched in the face. Because prior to him getting punched in the face, they go ahead and go to this dinner for his dad to go ahead and re-announce his re-election campaign. And Luke goes ahead and brings his pet snake to the dinner, which goes ahead and gets, like, fucks up the whole night, this fucking snake. And Luke is just laughing about it like an asshole. So when Sims is just beyond agitated that he has to keep working with this fucking kid, I went, yeah, I don't blame you at all. You actually should be more pissed off. So one subplot that this movie goes ahead and develops, I think, really well, is that they have Luke in this chat room, and he's talking. He's like, I can't remember the name of the chat, but it's like a chat group for kids, and he's like talking to kids online, and this was '96. This is the early days of the fucking dial tone AOL. I still remember the first time I got online and being able to go on Nickelodeon.com and look up stuff about all that. And the Mystery Files of Shelby Woo, because I still remember that fucking show. That show ruled, by the way. To date myself, I definitely was like, oh my gosh, I remember how these chats used to be. That used to be a thing. But Luke is talking to kids, and Sims does a really, I think, a very important thing that I don't think even Luke's parents had done at this point. He flat out goes like, cyberspace is its whole thing, its own separate entity. Be careful out there. Be careful what you tell people. And obviously, where this is going. You find out that he has this friend on there that he meets in the chat called named like Mongoose12, I think is their username. And you can obviously put two and two together and figure out who it is. But I think the way that they go ahead and do that and resolve that subplot, I was actually really impressed with that. And it's a very good lesson for people to still be aware of. You know, be careful what you tell people that you're talking to online, especially if you're especially if you're a kid. But I really like the way that in '96 that this movie actually brought that up and brought that safety concern and put it out there on Front Street. So I know I mentioned that the movie basically says that he deserved to get hit, but the teacher, I have the exact quote. Miss Lawrence, that's her name. Miss Lawrence goes, "Luke is in a new school with a high profile. He needs your support." And Sims retorts back, "I know how this kid operates. You don't know the last thing he needs. You don't know him. The last thing he needs is support." And she goes, "So what is it he needs? He just got it." And I remember I paused the movie and went, bravo, bravo, Sinbad. That is how that didn't get you an Oscar. I don't even know. And I'm not even being snarky because, again, not only did the kid deserve it, but he is completely justified in feeling how he feels. I mentioned the snake. I totally forgot that Luke is just wandering around the White House premises. Now, granted, does premises premises, that's not right. But yeah, should he be locked in his room like a prisoner? Absolutely not. But he is walking around the White House like at 10 o'clock at night. So there's a security breach, and that ends up falling on Sims and getting him dinged. And you just see Sims like, "Kid, could you cut me a fucking break? Could you stop being a dickhead?" And he even tries to go like, "Hey, we were playing hide and seek, weren't we, Luke? Weren't we?" And Luke just walks away, just lets him take the rap. And I just went, wow, what a dick. But they have this conversation that I actually think that, especially for a high school kid, he needed to have this conversation. He kind of needed to realize that, yeah, his world is not what he wants it to be, but it could be worse. But he needed to be able to actually vocalize that to someone. He has that realization that, he gets that smoke. And he realizes, I'm the first kid, I never see my parents. I don't have any friends. He immediately after that goes, "I've never kissed a girl." And Sims goes, "I get it. I understand. That would be enough for me to, act out. And I laughed really hard at that. I thought that was a really funny line. And as the film does kind of get going from this point, I think the chemistry between Sinbad and oh my gosh, and the kid, I think it's actually pretty well handled, and I think it's actually shockingly fun. That was my biggest, honestly, surprise on a rewatch. I forgot about their chemistry. Brock Pierce, there we go. I think their chemistry is actually really good, and you actually see them start to become cool with each other, become friends. Sims flat out tells them, and I think this is a very good lesson just in general. Like, if you're in that position of power, that position of privilege, you need to know how to defend yourself. And he flat out tells them, there's there's a point where, before they kind of have their talk and kind of iron their shit out, where Sims goes like, "Yeah, you should learn how to box." And Luke goes, "Why? That's why you're there." And Sims goes, "Wrong. I'm there to keep you from," what's he say, like, "killers, wackos, not kids in sweater vests," or something to that effect. And he drops the biggest line of truth that Luke needs to hear. He flat out goes, "But you know what? For as much shit, smack, I think is what he says. He doesn't say shit, but he goes, for as much smack as you talk, you need to know how to defend yourself." And he's right. You cannot talk that much shit and not know how to A, back it up, or B, be able to stand up for yourself and defend yourself. I know I've brought this up before, but it's like the guy who, the host who got stabbed hosting Cheaters. Like, when he got stabbed, I went, oh my God, that's fucking terrible. But you are going ahead and confronting these people at heightened peaks of emotion because you're confronting them on their bullshit, in real time. It's kind of a miracle that someone didn't try to stab him or hurt him earlier. So, you find out that, of course, he ended up taking, I think it was Taekwondo after that. But yeah, you need to know how to defend yourself, especially at that level of prestige. And that is something that I thought was actually really cool. And I think that's a good message for kids that if you are just that angry, or again, if you're talking that much shit, you should know at least how to throw a punch and block a punch, at fucking minimum. And that's something I think that movie does a good job of really enforcing an actual healthy outlet for Luke. And if you're a teenager, especially, to have a healthy outlet to deal with your, your anger and your frustration. I don't remember the character's name. I thought I had written it down, but I don't have it here. But there's an actor who plays a guy in a wheelchair who used to work with Sims, and they don't explicitly go into his backstory, but if you connect the dots, it seems like he got paralyzed from the waist down, protecting the president. Which president, not sure, but it sounds like he got hurt on the job. But he goes ahead and runs this high tech store in the mall, and so Sims, I think in a fucking stroke of brilliance, he goes ahead and gets Luke this necklace and goes ahead and puts a tracker in it, and he goes ahead and gives it to Luke. And I actually think it's a pretty cool design. And Luke is like, "Oh, why did you get me this for?" And Sim just goes, "Because I like you." And I actually thought that was pretty clever on Sim's part, because in the same way that Wakanda removed Zemo's and Hydra's words from Bucky, they still put a fail safe in that fucking arm. Like, you need to cover your fucking bases. So I actually appreciate that Sims goes ahead and has that. And while they continue to bond, really cool, fun montage. You actually see, them watching some like Ali Frazier fights, and Sims actually breaking down like certain punches and stuff like that. It's actually really cool, and it's a really well done montage. You see him in the gym like jump roping, which is way harder than people talk about. Jump roping is fucking hard, but you see him hitting heavy bag, you see him hitting speed bag, and there's an actual camaraderie that you see growing between the two of them that I thought was actually really cool. We of course end up finding out that Sims is a former Golden Glove boxer, which I thought was a really nice touch, and explains why, even though he's just he's in Secret Service, but explains why he's so physical, that he's actually more than capable of handling himself. I didn't mention her yet. Erin Willoughby, she plays Katie Warren, who is this crush that Luke ends up having, that of course Rob is attracted to. I actually really like the who's gonna get to date Katie. Obviously, you know who it is, but Luke ends up sneaking out with Sims and drags him along, going to Katie's birthday party, and he's like very nervous, very shy, and so he's like in disguise the whole time. And there's this point where Rob and Katie, they're doing a couple skate together, and she even asks Rob, like, "Have you seen Luke Davenport?" And he goes like, "Do I care?" It's just like, it's such shitty like little kid villain behavior. I fucking loved it. But a couple more things before I get to my final rating. There is a really fun sequence to a Coolio song, where Sims teaches Luke how to dance before the big school dance, of course. I really love that scene. I thought that's a really cute, really sweet scene. Of course, something gets in the way of Luke actually going to the dance, which, given what it is, I went, "Oh shit, that fucking sucks." But Sims ends up getting, fired. And I actually like the way that everything does build to the third act, as far as Luke getting out of the White House, what's his name? Woods coming back in the fold, and the last, boss fight, as it were. I think everything actually builds to a really good conclusion, and it references something that Wilk said earlier about, you don't forget about getting shot, but, they elect them, we protect them, as he says. And I will just say, in the history of Black History Month, the fact that Wilkes got shot protecting Ronald Reagan. Man, if there's one time to just be, half a second late. Um, but getting to my final thoughts, I really dug this movie. I totally forgot how much fun I had with this. I was pleasantly surprised, to be quite frank. Um, this is fun. It's a really fun movie. I would show this to, one of my nieces or nephews. They just want to watch something fun. I'd be like, yeah, cool. Like there's enough there. I think that, um, 10, 11 year old, you'd be fine. There's really no cussing or anything in this. But yeah, I enjoyed this. This is a solid, I'd go B plus on this. I had fun with this. I had fun with First Kid. God damn it. You can't tell me any different. But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. And Sinbad, it's very clear that they had a very much a skeleton of a script so that they could give Sinbad room to improv. And I think for the dramatic beats in particular, I think Sinbad's a much better actor than he's given credit for. Um, I didn't mention Lil Rel's show, but I really dug him on there. I thought they had great chemistry. I wish I could have gotten a second season so they could have, kind of kept going with that. But I really enjoyed this. I thought this was fun. So solid B plus. But yeah, First Kid, have y'all seen it? What'd you think? Let us know in the comments. You can go ahead and subscribe to us on YouTube at The Real Pineapple. Please don't forget to like, share, rate, and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel out. You can find me on Blue Sky at Real Pineapple, REEL Pineapple.bsky.social. Got a question for the podcast? Got a review request? Just want to say hi? Shoot me an email at jhunter@therealpineapple.com. You can follow me on TikTok at jhunterrealpineapple. And you can follow me on Instagram at jhunterrealpineapple. And you can follow me on Letterboxd at Black Shazam. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and rate. You can find us on SoundCloud, Apple, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneUp, and Samsung Podcasts at The Real Pineapple. You can follow me on Twitch as well at twitch.tv/TheRealPineapple. I will be hopping... I should be up to a regular streaming schedule by this point. Just go ahead and make sure you're subscribed everywhere so you know next time I'm going to be going live. By the time you hear this, this is actually going to kick off my Black History Month review. So I can actually say that on Saturday, February 3rd at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, I'll be doing my top 10 best of and worst of live. I'm really excited to bring that to y'all. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Stay safe out there. Take care of each other. For the rest of Black History Month, as I mentioned, I'll have other reviews, including Watchmen, Malcolm X, The Last Black Man in San Francisco, and Waves, to name a few, as well as Do the Right Thing. So expect reviews out for those and more throughout the month of February. But thanks again for your support, everyone. And never forget, as always, to keep it real.